Hey there, Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome, thanks for joining me. In today's video, gonna talk about combining two of my favorite things. And the first thing is what I call thump bass. Obviously, this is an acoustic blues thing. A lot of the old blues players would kind of keep that thumb just cranking away, keep that low end going. And it just, it happens on the downbeats, it's on the quarter notes, and other stuff goes on above it. If you think of, music, the way I define it is you need three things. You need rhythm, first and foremost, and these are in order. You need harmony, and you need melody. And of course, you can be light on one and have more of the other. We're going to have a lighter melody, but we will have a little bit going on in there, but we're going to have a lot more of the rhythm and a lot more of the harmony. The second thing that this is going to require is little chord inversions. In particular, we probably won't get all the way to the top one, but this is an E7 chord. So if you've never played this particular E7 chord before, it is first finger on the second fret of the fourth string. My third fret is on the fourth fret of the third string. My middle finger is on the third fret of the second string, and my pinky is on the fourth fret of the first string. And this is what we call root position, because the lowest note is the root of the chord. It's the E. As we move up, and we kind of rearrange the notes. These are the same notes, and what I've got right now, my middle finger is on the G sharp here at the sixth fret of the fourth string. The G sharp is what we call the third of the chord, so this is first inversion. My third finger, or that guy right there, is on the D at the seventh fret of the third string. That is the flatted seventh. My first finger covering the fifth fret of the second string, that's the root. My pinky is on the seventh fret of the first string. That is the fifth of the chord. Okay, our next one is going to be called second inversion, because now that is a B, the ninth fret on the D string. I've got my first finger barring the ninth fret on the fourth, third, and second strings. That's the fifth of the chord, the root of the chord, the third of the chord, and my middle finger, or could be your third finger, is going to grab the 10th fret D on the top string. That's going to be the flatted seventh. Now, in my particular example, I'm not going to finish out, but the fourth one, if you can reach it, would be here, or you could do it in open position, and this is what we'll call third inversion. And I'm now barring at the 12th fret, because that 12th fret on the fourth string is my flatted seventh, my D. My middle finger on the 13th fret of the third string is the third, the G sharp. My first finger is now on the 12th fret of the second string, that's the B or the 5, and the top string, E on the 12th fret, is the root. So again, those are the shapes. If you don't have access, some guitars, particularly acoustic guitars, it may be almost impossible to do that. So I could, for example, play that in open position. So open, first, open, open. So the first thing that I want to suggest that you do is be able to play through these chords. These chords are going to come up in so many different styles of blues and so many different styles of music in general. Blues music is based around dominant seventh chord. These are the four inversions of a dominant seventh chord. You're not going to come up with much else. And I can promise you that if we do change things around, for example, we take this and we turn it into a ninth chord, well, that's just moving the root up to the ninth. And it's actually the same shape, just with a subtle variation. And there's a lot of instances where we'll have basically the same thing, but just with a subtle variation. You might have noticed, you might have seen me play an A7 like this. Well, I'm just adding the low A to that little A7 chord. A works the same way. They all work the same. So this is a really powerful thing to understand chords in this way. And what I'd encourage you to be able to do is to be able to play through the four shapes to a metronome at about 60 beats per minute. That means 1 per second, right? If you have a watch with a second hand, just try and keep up with that. If you can play through those four shapes up and back at about 60 beats a minute, you got it, and you'll be able to use it. If you can't, in my experience, you'll probably stumble when you try to use it musically. Okay, so now that you know those, let's assume that you've practiced, You either already know those chord shapes or you have now practiced them. How are we going to use them? Well, for one thing, I'm going to get rid of the fourth string in every instance. Okay, and this is what I commonly call little chords. With so many different things going on, we just don't need that much. We're going to have our bass down here. We're going to have our low E string. Now you'll notice my first finger's kind of dragging down here, and I'm doing a little bit of palm mute with my right hand. And you'll notice that I'm kind of dragging my first finger on my right hand across these three strings. If I get any extras, nothing happens because my first finger over here is muting them out. Now, do I have to use that sort of brush stroke? No, I could use three fingers. You might like that more. It's a little bit more percussive. It's a little bit more precise. As opposed to... They're two different sounds. Is one right or wrong? No, absolutely not. Both are valid. Both are good. Choose the one you like the sound of, okay? I happen to dig the kind of brush stroke thing, so that's what I'm going to use. You'll notice my rhythm. Let's forget about the bass note for the moment. My rhythm on the top part is going to go 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Again, 1 and 2 and oops, I did it wrong. Sorry. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now let's say that for argument's sake you made a mistake. Who would do such a thing? Are you gonna stop? No. No, you're not. I didn't stop. You shouldn't stop. I guarantee that one of the times you play this, you're gonna hit an extra time or you're gonna miss one. Don't let that stop you, okay? When you're playing the music, don't let a little, oops, I missed the string. Don't let that stop you. Don't get in your head about that. Keep on going. It's not a big deal, okay? So we're gonna have that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and really try to tap your foot on those downbeats. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. When you get the hang of that, we're just going to add that. And you might think, man, that sounds a little bit muted. Yeah, I'm actually muting pretty hard, and I'm hitting it. If I don't mute, that's what it would do that. And I don't want it to do that. I got to keep it under control. But I want that nice heavy bass sound. So I'm going to put it all together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's all there is to it. So all I'm doing is I'm doing that thump every time I say a number. When my foot goes down onto the floor, my thumb goes down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then go down a half step. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now back. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now back down a half step. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Get the idea? 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Here's with my fingers. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Different sound, but still good. Okay, now if you got that, all we're going to do is we're going to kind of play with these inversions. Now what I'm showing you is just kind of one possible way you could throw these together. But what I might do is I might play, and this little half step down move, by the way, works really good as a 4 chord. So I'm kind of implying a quick change. I'm doing one time this way, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to imply the 4 chord, 1 and 2, 3, 4. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. right? So I just went through those inversions. 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4 again. 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2, 3, 4. And then from there, you go on to whatever else you might be doing. I don't want to make this lesson too big and crazy. But this is just a really awesome way to sort of play through those first 4 bars of a blues, to play around with these different chord shapes. Now, if you don't like that particular rhythm, you could do something like 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4, 1, and you could. Like, you can hit it every time if you want. There's no rule there. This is just how I do it and how I'm showing you. But please, by all means, get creative with it. This is such a cool sound. I mean, it's that classic thing. Whenever I sit down in a music store, I almost always play something like this. And, whatever else you want to do from there, you play through your blues that way. So make sure you can do those 7th chord inversions. Those are obviously really, really important. I've talked about them in other places. All of this stuff and a whole lot more is in my Acoustic Blues Guitar Unleashed course. This is, in a variety of places in there, and this comes up time and time again for a lot of different types of acoustic blues songs. So hopefully you can get this skill, kind of under your fingers. As always, if you have, acoustic blues guitar playing friends that you think would dig this video, I hope you'll share it with them. And as always, I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.